Hello, you're watching The Cavalry, and this is breaking news. The jail gang leader who has fathered 5 children with 4 female prison guards. If this was the streets, it'll be the jail gang leader who has fathered 5 children by 4 bastard-producing machines who happen to be security guards. Well, the FBI alleges massive collusion between the prison guards and the gangster that seduced them. Now we know there are 2 things that are most important in the African American woman's heart, and that is hair, weave, and having sex with thugs. So let's see what the mainstream media has to say about this incident.
The 11 News I-Team uncovers some new questions tonight that stem from that big prison corruption case made public yesterday.
Yeah, the allegations are really shocking, but prison officials have known for years about the trouble within their jails. I-Team lead investigative reporter Jane Miller is live in the newsroom with the latest. Jane.
Donna, the allegations of corrections officers having sex and children with inmates certainly sets this case apart, but the influence of gangs in prison and their ability to corrupt has a lot of history. In April of 2009, city police broke up an unusual meeting in Druid Hill Park of the violent drug gang known as the Black Guerrilla family. Bold of them to meet so publicly, but brazen behavior is part of the gang's DNA. Yesterday, federal prosecutors accused gang members of literally getting in bed with corrections officers to run a lucrative drug operation inside the city's jails. It's but the latest case exposing the prison system's problem. Federal wiretaps in 2009 caught phone conversations between a BGF leader at a city facility known as MTC or the Pen and a male corrections officer. The officer described how many of his co-workers were getting involved in smuggling. You know, down there are so many people who doing it, smuggling and selling contraband. You know, it's impossible to be the only one, the officer is heard to say. Now you got like 7, 8 people. Soon, it's the whole damn shift. That officer was indicted in a 2009 federal drug case. Prison officials say 54 corrections employees have been fired for smuggling contraband or fraternizing with inmates since 2010. Not included the 4 female corrections officers made pregnant by gang leader Davon White after having sex with him in jail over the last several years. Prison head Gary Maynard responding to questions yesterday.
It's grounds for termination if there is a relationship between correctional staff and the offenders.
Were these women fired?
Pardon?
Were these women fired? The ones who are...
No.
They're in your institution having sex with the inmates.
Right.
Were they fired?
No.
Federal agents found that union rules tie the hands of prison officials, and prison employees know it. Nothing new about that either. Those 2009 wiretaps caught a female corrections employee telling an inmate, "It takes a lot to bring me up on the smallest stuff. I got the union behind me." Prison spokesman said today the female officers charged in this case are now on their way to possible termination. The governor's office says the governor has full confidence in his public safety secretary. Reporting live tonight from the newsroom, I'm Jane Miller, WBAL TV 11 News.
I love that reporter, man. She was like, they were having sex with inmates. Were they fired? And dude was like, what? Pardon? Fired. No. And do you remember the part right here where basically this black whore is sitting up here boasting about how she's going to be able to keep her job? She's like, it takes a lot to bring me up on the smallest shit. I got the union behind me. Not anymore. They caved quick. It only took 2 seconds for the news to put this information out, and your ass is already on your way out. On your way. They love thugs that much. These black fools got families. They had a whole life that was perfectly clean. Now it's perfectly fucked up. Now you tell me, do these whores have men at the crib who don't know anything about this situation? Now, hold on. I know. There's all you straight niggas is sitting up here ready to post right now like, no, nigga, you just don't understand, nigga. They all know. They all in on it, nigga. And I know because I'm from the street, nigga. I got all this credibility, nigga. Come on now. I ain't brand new, and neither are any of the people on my page. And for the complete whores who are upset that the union didn't back up these women, unions can't allow a bunch of hoish, despicable African-American women to mess up the good thing that they have going, making sure that people get paid and keep their jobs. This is so ridiculous. They're about to get thrown on their asses right out by the unions themselves. But anyway, that was some good reporting by that reporter. She pressed it. I'm telling y'all, man, look. Did you see how fast he caved? He was like, what? See, he actually thought that if he had, mixed up the words a little bit, that he can get away with saying, it's grounds for termination if it's found out that there was a relationship between a guard and the inmate. And she caught that. She's like, they're not terminated. Hold on. Let me press this issue. They were having sex with an inmate, and they still have a job? She caught the fact that they hadn't let those women go yet. So, let's continue on. Let's look at some more bean footage.
25 people, including corrections officers, are charged with scheming to smuggle drugs and cell phones into Baltimore's jail. WJZ is live. Rochelle Ritchie explains 4 of the correctional officers in trouble also became pregnant by the same inmate. Rochelle?
Well, that's right, Mary. It's a jailhouse soap opera involving drugs, money, and sex. 25 people now face federal charges after being part of one of the largest gang-operated criminal enterprises seen at the Baltimore City Detention Center.
These 25 defendants participated in running the activities of the Black Guerrilla family from behind bars here in Baltimore City.
13 correction officers, all female, 7 inmates, and 5 alleged co-conspirators are charged with racketeering, money laundering, and possession with the intent to distribute. The affidavit says the correction officers helped members of the notorious Black Guerrilla family gang smuggle cell phones, marijuana, prescription pills, and cigarettes into the jail to sell to other inmates and make thousands of dollars.
This situation enabled BGF members to continue to run their criminal enterprise within the jail and on the streets of Baltimore.
Correction officers hid the contraband in their shoes. Unlike other facilities in Maryland, Baltimore City does not require employees to remove their shoes when going through screening.
We are committed to ensuring that this activity does not happen again.
The ringleader of it all, according to the indictment, Davon White, a 4-year inmate charged with attempted murder who made reportedly $16,000 in 1 month off of this smuggled contraband. 4 correction officers who are also facing charges allegedly became pregnant with White's child since he's been in jail. Secretary Gary Maynard taking full responsibility.
It becomes embarrassing for me when we expose ourselves and we participate in an investigation that's going to show what's going on in our jails that I'm not proud of.
Despite today's takedown, Baltimore City Police call the gang members a spreading cancer that they will continue to find and prosecute.
We will be relentless at driving them into the ground.
And Secretary Maynard says because of the investigation, policies and security changes are coming. I'm Rochelle Ritchie, WJZ Eyewitness News.
All right, Rochelle, thank you. The BGF has been a dominating gang in Maryland detention facilities since 2006.
4 security guards, 4 female security guards, stank whores for short, were impregnated by this prison thug. He has fathered, basically, 5 children. So, let me point this out to you so we can get this straight all together, so we can all come to the same conclusion together at the same time, black people, which is 4 women who are security guards had sex with this criminal. How did they know he's a criminal? Because he was wearing a prison jumpsuit. He was the guy that they're supposed to guard. This is simple. This is not rocket science, okay? They knew this. But how did it become 5 children? Because one of these nasty ass, stank ass hoe guards came back for seconds after already dropping a baby from this fool. She dropped a second baby for him. Now, I know, there's some of y'all sitting up there saying, well, are they black? Are they black? Well, let's look at it for real. What do you think? Does it fit the criteria? Who else has sex with prisoners? Who else has sex with thugs other than black women? Who else is so irresponsible not to use a condom or any type of birth control but the African American woman? Now, your idea is to have me and the rest of the world believe that it was 4 white women. Come on now. Come on now. Let's be real. Come on. I will grant you one half Latin, half white chick in the group. That's all I'll grant you. Maybe. But I'm waiting for the pictures too. They trying to hide their faces now. They're trying to hide their identities. I will call it a flush. I will call it 4 of a kind. If it's black women, I cannot wait to get some pictures. But for now, based upon the evidence, they're all black. Well, federal investigators, basically the federales, say that 13 female guards were in on a scheme at Baltimore City Detention Center, allowed members of notorious Black Guerrilla family gang to smuggle in prescription drugs and cell phones. One gang member boasted, "I make the final call in this jail." This dude was basically the warden. So he made the final decision. He was the decider. Well, let me continue. Control over the Baltimore prison was effectively handed over to a group of gang members who seduced and bribed the female guards. As far as the law is concerned, he didn't seduce anybody. He was a prisoner, locked in his cell, and they were the authority figures, so they took advantage of him. He's an inmate, so he is the victim. That's the law. He couldn't go anywhere. They can go in there, and they could do whatever they wanted to him. The indictment unsealed Tuesday said that the ring also involved sex between inmates and guards that led to 4 of the officers becoming pregnant by Davon White, leader of the jailhouse gang called the Black Guerrilla Family. Now I know, you're thinking, this brother must look like Denzel Washington or The Rock, somebody of quality to do such harm to such female pillars of the community. Well, let's take a look. Oh, here he is right here, Davon White. Look like an everyday street thug. This is not a model, people. This is not what you would call an actor. Oh, come on, man. All right, let me go ahead and continue. Davon White, he is held at the Baltimore City Detention Center awaiting trial on a charge of attempted murder. The inmates literally took over the asylum, and the detention center became safe havens for BGF, in other words, Black Guerrilla Family. FBI agents in charge, Stephen Bogue, said, "Look, y'all gotta understand this. When they say federal indictments and these people going to jail. Look, the inmates, they're just going to get more time. They're already in jail. They're already in prison. But these women, oh yeah, they're going to have to give up everything and report to a penitentiary and be strip searched and put in that mug, and that door is going to slam, and that them jail bars are going to be locked right on their ass. And in this case, you know, female prisons, this is mostly just, you know, doors with bulletproof glass. Anyway, White, 36, allegedly fathered 5 children with 4 female guards who were identified as Jennifer Owens, 31, Katera Stevens, 24, Chania Brooks, 27, and Tiffany Linder, 27. Hey, brothers, if you wondering where all the quality black females are, this is where they're at. Having sex with prisoners. You can't even get a decent conversation going up with these women, right? Over coffee, you can't even ask them for, you know, hey, let's go out for coffee. They're like, man, you ain't shit. That's because they're thinking about some damn prisoner. But anyway, the request for search warrants to allow investigators to visit the homes of the female guards says that the prisoners, many of whom were connected to the Black Guerrilla family gang, chose their targets strategically. The officers they focused on were ones that they believed had low self-esteem and insecurities. The Washington Post reports that 2 of the officers in question got tattoos of White's name, and one on one officer's neck and a second officer on her wrist. These chicks basically branded themselves with prison names. Oh my God. Oh my God. Whores, a lot of them. The Washington Post, okay. The indictment claims the gang ran the scheme from inside the detention center and charges gang members and corrections officers with conspiracy, drug possession and distribution, and money laundering. A telephone call seeking comment from White's attorney was not immediately returned Tuesday. The Washington Post reports that during a wiretap cell phone call made by White in January, he told a friend, "This is my jail. You understand that? I'm dead serious. I make the final call in this jail." The guards helped the gang leaders smuggle cell phones and drugs into prison. The arrangement, apparently profitable, one gang leader bought 2 luxury cars, a BMW and a Mercedes, with the profits from his contraband sales within prison. He then allowed some of the officers to drive the cars in return for their cooperation. Oh God. Come on, guys. Y'all gotta think about this, man. These hoes were so cheap. They were bought off by just being allowed to drive a BMW or a Mercedes. If that doesn't sound like the actions of an actual African American black woman, I don't know what does. Cheap, 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 cheap. Tattoos, upon tattoos, lack of birth control, baby daddy that's a thug. Come on. I have no idea what I'm gonna do if it was 4 white women. I have no idea. And then the story goes on, and this is how it ends. Correctional officers were in bed with the BGF inmates. Maryland U.S. Attorney Rod Rosenstein said, "We need to be able to rely on people within law enforcement to make sure they are on our side." I want you black men, you actual black men, to just hear that part. This is how a person with a law degree and a thinking brain looks at the situation, and you need to look at the situation the same way. You, as black men, need to be able to rely on certain people. And let me remind you as well, at the reporters discuss. Now that's a white woman, all right? Look, this is why you're seeking other options when it comes to women, all right? Is because their level of disgust, that white woman, is your level of disgust. And that's why you feel the way you do. To African American women, having sex with a thug, a criminal, an inmate is absolutely normal. It's normal to them. They don't see anything wrong with this story, but you do, black man. So, look, make no apologies. What these African American women are trying to bring to you is bullshit, and they're trying to glitter that sucker. They're trying to glitter boo-boo. They try to make it into something that looks like a piece of gold, and they're trying to deliver it to you. I'm just glad it's 2013 and you smart enough not to accept anymore. You the best thing that comes out of the black race, period. Look, all four of them, and these are supposed to be pillars of the community, pillars of any community. 4 different women had sex with the same foe and had babies by the same foe. If these women were not imprisoned, they would be on YouTube saying that it's the black man's fault. Not the thug, not the criminal, not themselves for having sex with a thug or a criminal, but you. So, this was breaking news from the Cavalry. I'm out.